enjoy your day and enjoy coffee time with Pastime Comics and Collectibles.
All right.
All right. We're back. So thanks,
Not
everybody.
nearly as embarrassing as you thought it was. All right.
No, I thought you were going to get far worse than that, but all right.
I had some, but I chose not to.
He's actually been really nice lately on the intro videos. He's got some good pictures. There's McLean already making his comment. 2 dogs. Yeah, it is. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us here for our second edition of Coffee Time with Pastime on this Thursday evening. We had Tiffany Groves on with us earlier from across the pond in London. And now we have Watauga's #1 artist, Ryan Palmer, joining us right now. Oh, yeah, we're going to call you out a couple times there, so get ready for it. And he's already – this is what I like. So Ryan, can you scroll his info across the bottom? So if you don't follow Ryan, and you guys know we're good friends with him and his wife, Megan, they come into our store quite a bit. They actually help out, which we appreciate a lot.
Megan works there and has a key.
Yeah, Megan has a key too, so sometimes that could be scary. Anyway, Ryan's Facebook is Tyrannosaurus Rye. So let's get into that. Where did you come up with that name?
I like dinosaurs. Oh, wow. I like dinosaurs. I wanted to find something, a moniker that would kind of exude that I'm just trying to have fun, trying to not take myself too seriously. So I figured Tyrannosaurus Rye was a fun way to just kind of piece things together. I thought it was going to be mostly just t-shirt designs and things that I would do with it. So I didn't want to just have like, hey, Ryan Palmer design t-shirt. I wanted some kind of name that I could stick it to, and it kind of encompassed the playfulness of it. So I just went with Tyrannosaurus Rye, and then from then on, anything I created, I would just go ahead and put it under that.
Yeah. So again, real quick, his Instagram information, his Facebook information, all scrolling across the bottom. His T Republic, I believe, is on there too, because you can go in there and buy some of his T-shirts that he creates. T Public. Make sure you guys go in and follow him if you don't currently follow him. He's got a lot of great artwork, which we'll put some of his pictures and everything up here in just a minute. Well, and there we go. And I will tell you right now, as a matter of fact, those prints are available at Pastime Comics as well, because Megan brought some in today, and they are now hanging up. If you want to come in the store tomorrow where we open, you'll see some of Ryan's work in there. We've also got an artist wall now with some of Ryan's commissions that are on there for sale as well. But all right, so let's start with the tough question. First off, let me ask you this. When did you become Watauga's #1 bathroom stall graffiti artist? Because I think that's probably going to stick with you now because of the graffiti you did on that bathroom stall. I don't know if we have that or not, Ryan. Do we?
No, but I can go get it real quick.
Okay, there you go. You may want to do that. Yeah.
That happened 2 days ago. I don't know why I chose bathroom stall. I always liked graffiti. I don't know why. I think I just kind of grew up around it and always enjoyed the messiness, but also the colorfulness of it. So I don't know. I wanted to do something to promote the stream tonight. And again, don't take myself too seriously. So thought, why not do for a good time, little lipstick message.
There it is.
Yeah.
It was great. You know, you posted that on Instagram first, and I think I was scrolling, and that came up, and I was like, "What is this?" And it took me a minute because I saw Pastime Comics. I was like, "What is this?" And then okay, Ryan's at it again.
Well, and I love the different things on it, right? So bottom left, you got our website, pastimecc.com, and then you got Palmer Was Here.
Yeah.
Elephant. So I mean, it's cute little having fun with it.
Get pastimecc.com twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Which, by the way, Ryan, pastimecomics.com now works as well.
I like
it does.
pastimecc.com.
Pastimecc. It's kind of catchy, right? It rolls off the tongue a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, that thing was just awesome. And I do enjoy that you did it in a clean manner, unlike the stalls down in the southern part of Fort Worth. So you did well with that, keeping it clean. But, we may have to get that as a print and put that in our bathroom at the store.
It's your funeral.
You did it. Hey, anyway. Hey, you got a buddy, Lloyd, saying hello to you. Your homie from New England wishes you well.
Yeah. He's talking about Chris here. Appreciate the message there, Lloyd.
So Ryan, before we get too much into the comic and the drawing aspect and all that type of stuff, obviously we know you somewhat, not quite well, but somewhat. Talk to us a little bit about drawing back when you were, say, like at IGN and things you've done that have led you up to where you're at now.
Well, I mean, pre-drawing, I started drawing back in like when I was a kid, just doodling stuff. And I remember like the first major moment was like The Simpsons when it came out. I don't know, I just loved drawing Simpson characters, and so it just started from that point on. So that was what, early '90s, I guess, when that came out. And from there, it went to a buddy in high school had a pirated copy of Adobe Photoshop, and so he gave me a version of it, and we just messed around with it, and I just had it there to goof around and create websites. You know, I had the hippest GeoCities website there was for a while, at least amongst my circle of 7 friends. So no, the IGN thing came about just me going in their community. They had a little community side of the website, and I would just create little images and mess around with certain concepts and mashups of video games and whatnot. And it eventually got the attention from them that they ended up flying me out there just to take a tour of the office and to record it and do little interviews and whatnot. And then went out to E3 after that, and that was awesome experience, definitely a bucket list item. But yeah, I think it is always just kind of this ebb and flow of doing both digital work and also the more hands-on, I guess not motor skill, but just the more hands-on either mediums of doodling with pencil. It's only been the past 2 to 3 years that I got into paint. I'm not much, well, I'm a painter, but I'm not much of one. I'm still trying to learn and understand the blendings of it and whatnot. But the little paintings is where it kind of began from there, because Megan randomly found some small little canvases, and so it just kind of all kicked off from that point.
Yeah, when we first met you, that's exactly what you were doing. You hadn't really started anything on a comic cover yet, or commissions, or the prints. You were you were doing the canvases. You had some in our store. You had some over at Comic Warriors too, and then you would showcase some of them over at some cons that we would see and do well with those. So I know we got some questions on here. We'll get to those, and then I'll come back with a question real quick if you got them, Palm or Rumley.
Yeah, you showed it earlier, but I just wanted to point it out. Jessica Fields is watching and says it's Ryan squared.
Ooh, I like that.
Hashtag Team Ryan.
I kind of feel out of place.
And Brandon Heyman says, what up?
What up, Brandon?
So first question we have, though, is from Miss Hayes, who's in the other room from Chris there. What has been your favorite character to draw so far?
Oh, man. Probably Venom. I keep going back to him. I think it's just the flow of all the stuff going on and the little chaos. And I like the story that it tells, essentially, which most superhero stories do tell, but the cost of power. It's always fantasized that you just get power and everybody thinks, oh man, you can go take on the world, you can defeat your enemies or whatnot, but always enjoyed the stories that tell the cost of having that power. It's like with Spider-Man or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
Great power comes, it's a great responsibility. I always like that balance of it. And for some reason with Venom, it's always this power that kind of takes over him at times and doesn't allow for much rationale or maybe even the way you intended something to happen, but yet it still just kind of played out and happened. So I'd probably say definitely Venom for both aesthetically and just the story.
Good answer. Well, and you also have what you've done. You actually have a Venom shirt that you did. I actually have that shirt. I can't remember. Do we have that one, Ryan?
No, I do not.
Oh, the Rolling Stone Venom?
The Rolling Stone Venom, yeah. You put that on the shirt, which is really good. All right, next question. I got it. It's from the owner at Frankie's Comics. How do you choose what medium will work best for what cover art you do?
Ooh, oh, that is a good one. I'm kind of new to cover art game, as it were. A lot of it sometimes depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. Hey, there it is. So it usually just depends what you're trying to, at least for me, trying to accomplish with it. Sometimes the cover has certain stuff on the trade dress that I don't want to incorporate in the cover itself. So I'll have to then go to something that's thicker or more opaque. So go with the acrylic at that point. So that way I can start carving and designing what I want that cover to look like. If it's just a simple trade dress where you just see the title, it's always just kind of go with the markers at that point, because it seems like it's a lot easier and quicker rather than waiting for, paint to mix and whatnot.
All right. Of course, from McLean, you've got him all excited talking dinosaurs. He wants to know what's your favorite dinosaur and what's your favorite dinosaur to draw.
Oh man, T-Rex, of course. That one's kind of always been the go-to. But when I went to go see Land Before Time, when I was a kid, I really fell in love with the long necks, the Brontosaurus, Diplodocus, all of those. So something about just big, monstrous mountains moving around. I don't know, something about that seemed really cool. So always liked them as well. The
long necks. What was the Littlefoot? That was Littlefoot.
Yeah,
okay.
Littlefoot. Yeah.
Took me a minute. All right.
Check you out. Yeah.
That old mine still works.
It still works. It's still spinning up there. All right. So let's see. From Lloyd, is Donnie Cates the writer you'd most want to work with because of Venom? If you would create your own original chapter, who would you want to write it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm digging the stuff that Cates is doing right now. I would say if I got into interiors or whatnot, then that would definitely, you would want to have somebody that had a good vision of what they want to do and good imagination that could translate and talk to you about that. So yeah, it seems like he does very well with the artists that he's paired with. So yeah, I would say, easy enough. I would say, yeah, most likely Cates. Create your own original chapter. Who would you want to write it? I do like writing myself. I don't know if I could do a comic book. I haven't tried that yet, but that's in the background. That's in the back burner right now. Just something to let the kind of the world building occur in my head and the characters that I want and the confrontations and decisions in that story that I want to. That's all marinating still. So I don't know if I could do Venom, but it'd be
we're gonna have to bring that story out a little bit, I guess. We're gonna have to start working on that.
Yeah. You what? Yeah.
Megan's wanting to get on camera.
Yeah, she is.
Come on,
I know.
Just get on the camera.
Come on. My art manager here is
There she is. She saw the audience.
Hi.
Jessica says that T-Rex is Gabriel Camacho's favorite dinosaur. Kim says Spike was fun too.
Yeah, Spike was fun. And Petrie.
And Lynn Kelly says that he's gotten tons of positive comments from fellow Flameheads on his Ghost Rider, and he says, "I'm wondering," but I'm assuming he's trying to say I won during the Pastime show a while back. So.
Oh yeah. By the way, Leonard Kelly, whenever you get a chance, I had made a print based off of that design. You're more than there it is. You're more than welcome as a thank you. I give you a copy of that print because, again, as a thank you for the rough draft that you picked up. So whenever you go into the store, definitely let Chris or one of them know, and I'll just replenish it, Chris, for you. But as a
they're $10 in the store.
No. But I appreciate it.
Got it. And that print came out really nice too. That thing looks really good. Okay, so Lloyd came back and said he meant character. Sorry, on the mistype. He said, so if you could create your own original, he meant character. Who would you want to write it? So you went back to, you went back to Kate. So, but I think he said chapter earlier. He meant to say if you could create your own character.
Oh, gotcha.
Who do you want to be the writer of your story?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good. I mean, that is another good one and a tough one, because I think, and Chris, you know this as well, I think you spend so much time with certain characters in your head that you get protective of how that's going to be used, and who, like, if granted you want to take opinions and ideas and like maybe this person should do that or whatnot, but it's almost just that you have that kind of sanctity almost of that character. So yeah, that'd be a tough one. But for the type of characters that I come up with, I'm not sure. I would think Kate could do a good job of it, but yeah, I haven't thought of that one.
Yeah, that was actually a good question. That's a tough question too, because you're right. Because think of all the good writers like Kate's and them out there, and if you were going to go pitch them an idea like that, I mean, you're going to have something in your mind, just like you said. You want to talk about protecting the character that you're coming up with.
Right.
You're going to trust somebody else, so you could always just give them the concept, and they may just change it on you, and and do their own thing. Yeah. We've seen that happen.
When you write a book and give it to a cover artist, that happens. So
yes. We've seen that happen.
I bet.
Hey, Lloyd, it's all good. It's all good. Again, remember, we're here live with Ryan Palmer. Okay. Well, let's get to this. This was one of his mini canvases that he did. And let me ask you, Ryan, are you still doing those mini canvases?
Not right now. Kind of put a hold on it for the time being. Some of those I wanted to do just to add to my own collection to get signed. Yeah. And again, Rumley, thank you for that Art Germ signature on the Catwoman, because man, that is definitely one of my favorite covers of his, and so glad to have that in the collection.
Yeah, that's probably not something you'll ever be getting rid of. But yeah, again, there's the whole, like when we met you, you were doing those mini canvases and you were kind of copying different covers, and they're amazing. Just, I remember the first time I looked at them, you brought a couple in the store. I was like, what are these? Did you do these? And I could actually picture you, because I remember one time I asked you, I said, so you sit over a desk and you got like this massive magnifying glass, and you're like, yeah, I actually do. How you get in there, because
massive, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I could picture this huge magnifying glass that you're looking through to do the tiny detail work in it. The pictures don't do the canvas justice, especially they're like little, almost like a 3x5?
3x4, yeah.
3x4. So they're tiny. And the detail that he puts in these is incredible.
Well, it's easy to do when you have the existing image in front of you to just duplicate it. And I think that's where I kind of wanted to have that chapter of my life to do those, and they're fun and they're kitschy, and I don't think there's a huge market for them by any means, but that wasn't the point. I wanted to learn how to paint, and that was one way to do it, was to copy what somebody else was doing. But I think it just got to a point where, like, I'm tired of copying existing things. I need to be able to branch out and try my hand at things that haven't existed yet.
Yeah.
So, like COVID-19. So
yeah, like COVID-19.
Yeah. So
that was great. That was great. So that picture, do you still have that, or did that sell?
That one sold.
That day at the show, inside the store, because what had happened was that we were all set up to go set up at a Comic-Con in Keller, and it was canceled because of COVID. So in the store, we had Ryan, we had a few other people come in and set up that day in store. And sitting there that day, Ryan actually started drawing that, and it was hilarious watching him. So that right there, and how it came out. Did it sell that day in store?
I posted it, I think later. I think the next day, and just put it up for auction just to have it out there. And yeah, it ended up selling. I don't know. I'm always surprised if any of my stuff sells, to be honest, because I don't do commissions or anything. I don't do something where I know somebody wants it, or I wait to, draw something that I really want to draw, but waiting for somebody to tell me to draw it. I just want to create what I want to create. And then it's always amazing if somebody actually wants it. But that one, I really didn't know if anybody wanted the COVID-19 little microscopic hoobajube, whatever that's called.
Apparently somebody wanted it, so they have it, and it's sitting up in their office. Now this one, I know Tony DePool won or bought from you at a show in Keller or in Watauga, and this was a great piece. Now we all know we have the running inside joke on Rainbow Bright, but this one far exceeded the running joke one. But yeah, that was a gorgeous piece that you did. And how long did that take you to do?
That one didn't take as long. And that was me trying to learn on Copic markers because I've just started using those. So for blending and for understanding, I have to change the way I do things. I start with Copic markers. I have to start from light and go to dark, whereas I'm normally used to starting the mids, and then I can either play with shadow and then go to highlights later. But it's reversed a lot of how I think and how I try to do things. So that's been having to get used to that. But I wanted to try it on something that seemed random and obscure, like Rainbow Bright. And then I thought, well, what if I need to try to make a design that seems like a tattoo or something like that. So hopefully I achieved the tattoo look for that one.
So is that something you'd get a tattoo of?
Sure, why not?
I mean, you could.
Is it something that you already have a tattoo of?
There we go. Or is it the one that we know of?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think it'd be, I have yet to get a tattoo. I don't know if that'll happen, but always think of ones that I think would be cool. And then about a month or two later, I think, yeah, no, it's probably a good thing I didn't get that.
Now, I haven't seen this one yet. When did this one come about?
That one was at the close of last year, I believe. I had it at the con. I think I just finished it at the con. And again, I like graffiti and messy stuff, so I wanted to try to incorporate. I didn't want to do a one-for-one image of that moment that I'd seen online, so I started trying to change it up and add more of a tagging element to it. And so like there's a pool of the mixed colors at the bottom of their feet area, and so I was just trying to be silly with it and make it kind of more like a street art setup.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep showing stuff. I'm just.
I love this one.
That one was that was an early morning trying my hand at just using a thick brush, just one brush. I always, I mean, you obviously always want to use multiple ones for different jobs, and on that one I was just trying to see what it would look like of just using the same kind of a thick brush and different setups. So that one was an interesting experiment.
Got a question? You plan to set up at any cons if they open back up?
That is a good question. I guess it depends on what con.
Fan Expo Dallas.
If I was invited or whatnot, I think that'd be cool. But I don't think I'm there yet to get to that level. I don't know if I want to be the con life guy. I do like having certain moments in galleries or I guess gallery night type stuff where the small type setups like Chris was having at Pastime or what we were planning to do at the Keller High School. I like that type of feel where it is more intimate and kind of low key. But yeah, I don't know if I could keep doing cons. I don't know if that's in me, to be honest. But I am looking forward to the cons to come back as a patron of them.
Right, as a customer yourself to shop and dig through back issues because you are quite the now let's get into that real quick and then we'll get over to McLean's question real quick in just a second. So talking about the cons and when you go out, and I know being in our store and you've been in other stores as well and you're always looking for back issues. What is your favorite series? What is your favorite character that you read and that you follow? Because I know you like a lot of the independent stuff too. You've been in and you've picked up on back issues on dollar days and all that. You've picked up a lot of independent stuff, some little quirky stories and stuff. There's some good stuff out there, but let's just say, what is your favorite one that you like to read?
I don't know if there are a favorite. In all honesty, I think as you know, I mean, I think there's enough diverse offerings with comics that there's one thing you'll get from one type of comic and then you get another from a different run. So I think as of lately, I guess because of the whole shutdown, I've been going through a bunch of just older back issue, the stuff that I hadn't actually sat down and took time to read. One of them was the Dragon Slayer book. I've had that one for a while and always loved the game. And it's like, yeah, I wanted to get the book. I've had that for at least a couple years, and then I saw it getting posted around because I guess Ryan Reynolds is going to possibly be in the movie they're going to do. And so I'm like, oh man, I think I have that comic. And so, yeah, it's just right now, since there was a bit of a stop on all the comics, I've been having to go back through some of the old ones. But yeah, looking forward to definitely having, what'd you say, Felix the Cat? Oh, yeah, that is one of my favorite characters, Felix the Cat. And,
she said Man-Thing as well.
Man-Thing, yeah, I've got a soft spot for Man-Thing. Again, mainly for the story he tells, but aesthetically, I like how he's designed. I don't know, I always thought it was a cool notion of somebody that could be sensitive to emotions around him, and if it be a negative emotion, he has an instant reaction, and it may not be the best reaction. It may not be the right call for that moment, and it may hurt those that are also around him that he didn't mean to hurt. And I don't know. I always just found that to be an intriguing concept of, again, the responsibility and the costs of having power. So he was always one of the characters that doesn't get a lot of play, unfortunately, but he has a really horrible name, so I get why.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. It can be. Well, I completely forgot my question. So, all right, let's get up here to McLean's question. What are your go-to tools, your top 3 you go for on the use of your art when creating in digital?
Tools? Well, right now I've been practicing on this Huion, I don't know how to say it, drawing tablet, and so they have a stylus that they give you to work with, and it has a little nib at the end. It seems to be okay. I've tried a few that aren't that great, and then this one just seems to be a mid-range right in there. It's not as good as I've heard the XP pen and the Wacom or Wacom, whatever. But this would probably be the other tool. So I have oily hands from my Spanish heritage, no doubt. And it helps me not smear up the screen as much. So this will help kind of with the gliding and easing of the tool itself. And the third one would be a Star Crunch cookie, because there's nothing better than something that can just put you at ease whenever you're getting in the zone. So.
Oh my gosh.
So if there's ever Zombieland, it's not going to be Twinkies. It's going to be Star Crunches that rhymes out.
Yep.
Yes,
sir.
Star Crunch. Wow. Okay.
Threw you off with the Star Crunch.
Yeah, he threw me off. Hey, McLean, I know you have another question coming up that you ask all the artists except today when Ryan stole it from you.
It takes too long to ask it.
So, okay, so that picture right there, I know that I was the happy winner, and I have that here, actually sitting up here on my shelf right now of the, because I'm a huge Star Wars guy. So, and I love that piece you did of the Mandalorian. What is the color paint? And it's a gold, but it kind of shines a little bit that you used. And there's no glitter, but
I could have put glitter on there if you asked me.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I don't want the glitter.
All right, check it. That's a gold leaf. So it's a really fickle foil that you can get to adhere just using an adhesive that you essentially paint with, let it dry for a little bit, and then you slowly just brush it on from there, and it'll catch onto it. But it's so fickle. It's a pain in the butt. So I usually have to go through 2 or 3 passes with it to make sure I get the actual design that I wanted. There's a lot better artists than me that can do it in just one and done. But that one was a cool enough, I think, iconic logo that it's like, yeah, that'd be really cool to put on there. So.
Yeah, Leonard. Now let me ask you this. So I know you've done some, and yeah, it's an awesome piece, Leonard. I actually have that sitting up here on the shelf. And you're talking about that gold leaf, so I can look to the left and I'm staring at it, and you don't really see the green, but that gold Mandalorian logo is just popping off the cover of that book right now. But so I've got another commission from you up here on my other shelf up here that you've done for me on the Forgotten Isle with the boat, which I loved. Now, are you doing commissions for anybody? If somebody were to request for you to, hey, let's say a Leonard Kelly, I'm putting you on the spot there now, Leonard, but he if somebody's wanting you to do a commission, or are you taking any kind of commission work right now?
No, not right now. I'm just I kind of went back into just doing what I want to do, just have fun with it. And I don't know. I mean, there may get to a point where I go back to doing a few commissions here and there, but I'm probably not at that level of demand to kind of expect that anyway. But two, this is the artsy fartsy part of me. I've never wanted my passion to be my paycheck, because it just changes things. And not necessarily for the worse, but it changes it. And so I've always tried to guard that. There's been a couple of times in my life where I decided to question that, is like, am I just being a punk and coming up with an excuse of not trying things, not risking things or whatnot? So I did eventually go ahead and try to risk it in being in graphic design. I'd just been messing with it my whole time, but I never had it as a job. So I went ahead and tried to do that and to see is that going to work. And I enjoyed it to a certain extent, but again, it was always to whatever the client wanted. And so I think it just, like I said, I think it just puts the reins on you a little bit. And maybe I'll get to a point to where that's okay for me to go ahead and do that and exact somebody else's vision of it. But at this time, I'm just having a good enough time to just, put something out. And again, if somebody buys it, awesome. If somebody else enjoys it, or even if it just has a little conversation about it, awesome. That's the cool payoff for me.
You keep putting up the COVID pic. Tony DePaul joined us.
I love that cover.
I do love that cover. Leonard Kelly saying, McLean, we're coming to your question in just a second. Leonard Kelly saying, if you ever want to do a Galactus, let him know.
Galactus, that is one I haven't got to yet. That would be an interesting one to play around with.
All right. So like the transition from 2D gaming to 3D gaming, what was the biggest technique you learned that you feel really got you to the point where you're confident enough to sell your work?
I don't even know if I'm confident enough to sell it now.
Oh my gosh. You have an agent in the other room that'll sell it for you.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I keep her around, because she definitely has that part of the brain where she's just like, no, you're not going to just give that away to somebody or whatnot. Like, you need to be able to, respect your time and ability and whatnot from there. So she does help balance me out on that regards. But I don't know. I think it got to, because Chris, I mean, you were asking me for probably a good half a year about trying my hand at doing a blank. And I always thought those are just so intimidating, because that's a finished product already in your hands. You have the interior artist, the writer, letterer, everybody, colorist, already completed it, and then you go and put your grubby hands on it, and you could possibly screw that up. And I don't know. I think that intimidated me for a long time. So I think once I got to the point where I started being able to draw on it and paint on it, really, because I had to start with painting on it. I think it was right when I finished that Joker that immediately Julian was like, let me know how much that is.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. You brought it in the store. Yeah.
I thought, what? I don't know. He's just joking around with me. Like, he's just trying to make me feel better or whatnot. And then he ended up, after he bought it, he ended up sending me a picture of it slabbed.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, oh my gosh, that is weird. That is just a weird picture to receive. I don't know. But I think it was at that moment that I just thought, okay, maybe I can produce something that somebody else besides me, would also enjoy. So maybe I'll try, doing this little comic book cover thing for a bit.
So McLean's question, there it is. This is the traditional question from McLean McGuire to all the artists that we have on. So what is the oldest drawing tool you still use to this day that you refuse to get rid of and or replace, and how old is it?
I have an old paintbrush that's wobbly. Like it's about to fall apart. Let me see.
I like his Tiger King setup back there in the back.
Oh yeah, totally Tiger King. So this was an old brush that I don't know. I've had in my life because I've always kind of felt like I was an artistic person, but I never was a painter at all. And so I always had these green paint brushes. I don't even know if it's even a well-known brand or not. Royal Taklon. I don't know, but it's just a little wooden one, and it's a little loose at the tip. So if it ever goes, I'm probably gonna have to glue it back again. But yeah, I've had this for I don't know how long, but whenever I finally decided to start painting, I found some paintbrushes that were in storage, and I thought, well, I guess I'll go ahead and use some of these to start it off with. So ever since then, I've just been messing around and having this one on hand.
You know, and I'm going to be honest with McLean. I love that question. I know Ryan asked it earlier to Tiffany. I love it because every artist that we've had on, every one of you guys has something that's. I think Kel had one that was 10 years old, or it was Kel or Allen that still had a pencil that they use, or a pen that's 10 years old. And
that was Kincaid.
one of who was it?
Kel had the tablet. Allen had the paintbrush. Kincaid had a pencil, and Tiffany had a pencil.
Kincaid had the pencil that was over 10 years old. He just replaces the lead in it, and it's all wore out and gross looking, which is great. It's all yellowish now. He said it used to be silver. But just like you with the paintbrush, right? I mean, to me, it kind of looks like when you look at them, it's just a symbol of when you started. And you guys look at it, and it's also one of them said before he kind of uses it as a good luck charm. So when he starts painting a piece or he's drawing with that certain, he doesn't. Maybe it was Kincaid. He doesn't always draw with that pencil or use that, but when he does bring it out, he knows it's going to be something good. So again, McLean came up with that. I think who was our very first guest? Carla. He asked Carla that very first question, and she still had. And it's great because every one of you guys will turn around from the camera and actually reach and grab a pencil or a paintbrush that you've had for years. So I don't know. I love it.
Artists, we're freaking weirdos.
Tony DePool says he's got the Rainbow Bright. You did slabbed.
I want to see that as a tattoo on Tony now.
The thing is, it'll fit Tony with the beard.
Well, I mean, just you don't have to go back tattoo or anything. Just just right there.
No. You're gonna do it back tattoo, lower back for Tony DePool, right there. Right. We'll pay for it, Tony.
Right on the face, the Tyson tattoo.
Ooh, yeah. Let your light shine bright.
So there's a little bit of your workspace and the interior part of your room. I don't know who sent that picture, but
did you just take a picture of that?
It must have been your wife.
Yeah, maybe. No, that was probably that was an earlier one. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of that, let's go back to when we first met. Do you have that picture? Did Megan ever send that picture of the drug deal gone bad in the QT parking lot?
Please tell me she did.
No, she never
didn't send it.
No.
Well, we're gonna have to cut her hours at the store.
Megan, you got the drug deal comic picture?
No, I never knew you guys did that, but that was great.
I didn't know she did that until after, because she's like, I don't know, this just seems shady. I'm like, what? She's like, I don't know, just picking up comics at a gas station or whatever. She's like, you don't know this guy, right? And I'm like, well, no, not really. So I didn't even know she took a picture of you taking that out, but yeah, that was a good memory.
While we're waiting for her to send Rumley through Facebook Messenger, Megan, please. Now, there's one of your minis that Jordan Pena, another good customer and friend of ours, got Jim Lee to sign that for you. So right now, you've got a Jim Lee signed on one of your minis and Art Germ. So sitting in your room.
Yeah,
he's got a Ji Hung Lee as well.
Yeah, Ji Hung Lee, X23, and then a Jim Starlin Thanos cover that in. Although he said he was allergic to silver pens at the time, like it was giving him reaction. So it was a mostly black cover, and so he just flipped it over and signed it on the back. So it's the only one I have signed on the back. And then I got Sam De La Rosa to sign a little Venom Lethal Protector.
Yeah, the Venom one.
Yeah, no, most people have been pretty good sports about that, and I'm appreciative. But I do get the ones who say, "Well, I didn't create that, so I don't want to sign it," type of thing. Like, I do understand that concept. It's just I'm just super thankful that somebody like Jim Lee and Art Germ thought, hey, yeah, took the time to do that because that's definitely an awesome thing to have in the collection.
Oh, the Clayton Crane too. The Clayton Crane.
That one I gave to a friend because he really liked that cover, and I wasn't quite sold on that cover yet. I did get a copy of it from you guys, but I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, I like the coloring and everything, but I don't know about Venom with the Infinity Gauntlet. Well, after I gave it to him, I was like, ooh, maybe I should have kept that one because that was right when he started doing the multicolor signature.
The rainbow color.
He had just started doing that, and I thought I'd never heard of that before. But as soon as I saw him do it, and the time he took, and the precision he has to pick back up on there, and it looks like one solid man. That's talent. That dude's got talent.
Well, and what's crazy about that, so he started that here in Dallas at Fan Expo last year and wasn't charging anything extra for it. He got to MegaCon, he started charging $5 extra. And by the time New York rolled around, he was charging $10 extra for the rainbow signature.
I mean, it wears your hand down, I'm sure.
Yep.
Well, he did say that. He said he started charging $5 extra. Like Ryan said, we ran into him at MegaCon because he said it was making his hand cramp even worse, swatching pins or however he had to do it. I mean, I guess I understand that. But it was a cool cover, and I think some of us actually have that cover. I know we do, signed still here somewhere, that he did it in rainbow for us. So, and it looks great. But so let's go to, you were talking about, we'll get into this because we can't leave this out because I'm here. So you were talking about doing Risk, and you said how I talked to you when we met you. Hey, here's a blank. You ought to do a blank. And Julian and Ryan, everybody's trying to push you to do a blank, and you were okay. So Rumley's got the photo now, Messenger. Thank you, Megan.
Oh yeah.
So you're talking about Risk, and you were always, no, I don't want to. I don't draw on comic covers. I don't do that. I just, you do your minis. You're happy with those. You didn't touch a blank. Then all of a sudden one day you did the Joker. Then all of a sudden, next thing I know, you're walking in the store helping us on Tuesday night our show, and you did 2 commission pieces for Forgotten Isle book. And they both, I bought one, and I think Brian bought the other one, or somebody, it went on the auction.
Anna Zhao bought it.
Yeah, so you sold those 2 real quick. And then I remember kept saying, I need to get you for a cover. And you were like, no, I don't want to do any kind of comic cover. No, I'm good. I'm just going to do my thing, just kind of do my own thing.
Gosh,
so finally,
aren't I?
Not really, because you know what? And I'm going to say this. The best comment you said that I've heard any artist say, I don't want my passion to be my paycheck. Love it. Which is true. Because you don't want to hinder anything like that. And you're very careful with what you do. Well, there it is. So you're very careful with what you do and the kind of work that you're taking on, which is very admirable. But, of course, I came to you the other day, 2 weeks ago, and said,
wow.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks ago. And that's right, Tony, that we just stay on people and we wear them out until they just do what we ask them to do.
That's pretty much the strategy.
That's pretty much how it is. And I asked you if you're ready to do your first comic cover ever. And your response to me through text message was, what's the cover? And I sent you a couple of creepy pictures, and your response was, you have my attention. So we're going to unveil, which we've already shown. Most of you guys watching have already seen this. If you got it up, Ryan. But this is a story that I wrote, and I got Ryan Palmer to do the cover. This book will be out in about a month. It's being interior drawn right now. But this cover is the only cover for issue 1 that we went with, and this is by Ryan Palmer. And I will say this: our little joke earlier about the cover is absolutely gorgeous. Ryan went far above expectations on this because I gave Ryan. I said, "Hey," he goes, "How do you want the cover to look?" I said, "Well, I kind of want you to do this." And 2 hours later, he gave me a different concept, and he said, "Well, I'm going to do it like this." You can't really argue with them or you won't get a cover. So Ryan took that concept and ran with it, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So, no, I just want to get your thoughts on knowing that that's your work, and here in about a month when everything prints and it gets sent out, look at all the people. Your name's on the first comic book cover. Yeah, it's an independent. It's not Marvel or DC, right? It's not going to go out to thousands of people, but it's your first comic cover, your work that's going to get into quite a few people's hands. It's going to have that work. How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's really hit me. I think once I have it in my hand and you're showing me it or whatnot, I think then it'll be that moment where it's like, whoa, okay. Right now it's just I don't know. Yeah, it hasn't really hit me just yet. I think it was something that it was definitely a risk for you, and again I thank you for at least allowing that to, because I know you have strong opinions on what you want, because this is your baby and what
Yeah.
you want to put out there and your ideas that you have, and so commendable to you for allowing me to take the reins a little bit, and even mess with the trade dress of it to create the Scooby-Doo lettering there.
Oh yeah, you went all out. You took the logo that was already done and moved that logo to the side, and because like you said, it doesn't really go with the way that looks in your thought, and you had a vision of that cover and you put your own wording on it. And then we had McLean go in, who did a great job as well. When you did the cover, you made it look all old and distorted, which I absolutely love. Like I said, I didn't even notice that when you sent it over. McLean pointed out, hey, look at the crease he put in there. Look at the spine ticks on the left of the book. Makes it look like that old 70s horror style from Marvel. So you took that and ran a completely different way that we wanted, and it's amazing. So we're excited to get it in. As a matter of fact, the Kickstarter is going to start on that probably by Friday or by tomorrow or Saturday. We'll start the Kickstarter. We'll all be pushing it. Ron will be pushing it because it's his cover. So then that way that book will be available to buy. And then, like I said, hopefully within 30 days, a little after, once the interiors are done, we're going right to print. We'll get them in and we'll have them out. So Ryan, you'll be getting copies of that as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely post about it once. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. What'd you say?
I'm sorry. I was saying I'm going to need one signed by you guys, and then I'll get it slabbed.
I'm going to need one signed by you guys as well, because I think that'd be pretty fun. No, I was just going to say I'll definitely post about it when the Kickstarter's up to start promoting it as well. Because yeah, no, that's I'm curious to see it, and McLean's input on the matte cover. That I think that's definitely a really good idea that he had with that.
Yeah, Lloyd, we'll send everything out. The Kickstarter is going to be going. Then after the Kickstarter ends, we'll post them up on our 4-Leaf Comics site, and then Ryan will have some as well. He gets comp copies as well to do that.
She'll sign
of course, Megan said she'll sign it too.
Oh, good, okay.
That is not me on the left. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm not, but. Boy, that does look like I'm in the truck. It does look like I got the good stuff, doesn't it?
No, I think you're out of the truck. If you look down by the tire, you can see your feet.
I see that. And I guess Megan's trying to get my license plate number in case there was a shootout or something.
Yeah.
Something was going to go wrong by trading books.
That was the early For a Good Time called Pastime then. So, yeah.
For a good time, call Chris Hayes at Pastime. So Ryan, we've showed some of the work and stuff like that, but I mean, you dabble in a little bit of everything, right? So we've showed some comic prints or comic books. You've got your prints. You even have your T-shirts that you've done as well.
Yeah.
You showed the Venom. Is there anything in particular that your favorite piece that you've done? What was the one piece that you're just like, that was my best art I've done?
I don't know. I really like that Joker and how it came out that Julian ended up buying. I really like that one. There's been a couple here and there, and I just kind of keep them in my own personal. But no, I think that one was. And I told Tony this. Tony has the one that got away from me there, because I ended up selling the Deadpool as a homage to the Terminator. And man, that one. I know we say this as artists, like, oh, that was fun to do, or, that was a fun one. Most of them are pretty fun. I'm hard on myself, but there's moments where it's like, if I'm not enjoying what's being created, then what's the point of it? So most of the time I'm enjoying it. But that one was a real fun one that I was happy that Tony ended up getting it, because I don't know, that one I knew I would go to a home that somebody could appreciate it, because that definitely was a fun one.
Yeah, and Tony says he's got it and he loves it. He wants to get that slab too. Tony, I know a place you can go to get that done.
I do too. And I think we're going out there next week, because there's like 4 books we have to drop off.
If we're allowed to. We're waiting for confirmation.
We're waiting for confirmation.
So, McLean wants to tag on to mine and ask, what piece of art have you drawn or created in your path of being an artist that means so much to you, and you love so much that you didn't sell or refuse to let it go still to this day, and how long have you had it?
I'd have got tongue tied on that one. I just know why I was reading that.
There's I don't know. There's a couple. I mean, definitely the tiny paintings. The first Venom Lethal Protector that I did, that was a mini. I learned from that one. I feel like I got better with the other ones that I did. I think I've only done like 3 of them after that, but of the regular red background. But that one, I don't know. It kind of just helped cement this idea and this concept of just doing these little comic covers and getting Sam to sign it and I built a little bit of a friendship with Sam after just having that little moment of talking about it and chatting about art and whatnot. So I think that moment there becomes special enough I'll always just have that hanging around. And yeah, there you go. Always have that one hanging around me just to kind of keep me aware, I guess would be the word I would use there, to be conscious of roots and growth and just simply the enjoyment of what I do.
So going to with that, you're talking about Sam and stuff. So this hadn't been asked yet. What artists do you look up to or inspire that, or someone that like another artist that you look at that kind of inspires your work?
I really look up to Dave Stevens, Adam Hughes. He has this great way of kind of infusing this kind of hyper realistic. He's not realistic in his execution per se, but it's real enough, but it has this kind of playful cartoonishness to it, that he's found this good balance between the two that I really appreciate that. I've always liked Bernie Wrightson with detailing, like just old school, just being able to go in and create these different shadows and whatnot with his line work. I always enjoyed that. Another lesser known, I guess, would be Gray Morrow. He did some of the earlier horror and also with Man-Thing and whatnot. I don't know. But I don't feel like I'm nothing like them. I don't know if I could ever get to that point to emulate them, unless I was doing a copy of something they did to try to go from there. But if I could eventually get to the point of being satisfied with some of the fluidity that Dave Stevens had with the poses of his characters, or just that quirky cartooniness that Adam Hughes is able to achieve, but still maintaining it as a respectable and almost lifelike representation of men and women. That, man, I don't know. I mean, that's, to me, I feel like that's a couple years down the road if I keep going at it. But those are definitely some that I still look up to. And as soon as the cover comes out, I'll ask in Pastime to hold me one. So
that's if it comes through on your pull list, or if we forget about it too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other gamble. But yeah.
I have a question, something that I learned today when we were talking with Tiffany. So it's a 2-part question. A, have you ever had anyone request that you draw them in the nude? And B, have you ever had a request that you refuse?
Yeah, I've had only a couple. People suggest a idea they have that they think I would be good at creating it. And I kind of just wasn't on board with the idea, so I just let it go by the wayside. It wasn't a nude. I don't think I would ever go down that alley unless it was some kind of like something that I decided to do and it was some tasteful something or other. But yeah, I don't know. I'm already horrible when it comes to commissions. There are some ideas that people have that are really good ideas, and sometimes I think another artist may be able to handle that better than I would, or be more interested in it as well. I see that thinking face there, Megan.
Just a slight follow-up to that. Have you ever considered doing piece?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there is a mini painting of that a friend of mine, Courtney, had bought from me. So Courtney Crabtree now owns that tiny painting of Sir Goldblum.
Of your twin.
Yeah, my doppelganger.
Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to throw everything off with my.
Oh, you threw it off. I'm picturing Ryan like from the scene from Titanic, you know, with Megan's thinking face over there. So see, there it is. Anyway, yeah, you threw me off. So how did you enjoy the pastries that your mother sent you today? Because, you know, apparently they were dropped off at the store, and when Megan was leaving, she pulled out this big plastic bag of all these awesome pastries. And I'm like, what is this? And she goes, these are for Ryan. I'm like, oh, okay. Mom took care of Ryan.
No, I haven't tasted them yet. I think Megan's already broke into them a little bit, but no, I went with Star Crunch afterwards.
Yeah, Ryan's busy eating the Star Crunch. So
Yeah.
The Star Crunch. You can't beat the Star Crunch. I'm not allowed to eat any of that stuff right now. So,
McLean, what are some of your favorite things or hobbies you do outside of drawing and art? Because based off your pictures, you are very much a Renaissance man. So let's talk about some of them things.
Things I like to do?
Yeah.
well, you work on your motorcycle, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I know hardly anything about motorcycles, so that was the whole point in getting one. I like the old ones, so I guess I'm kind of more of that old spirit type setup because I do appreciate a lot of the older things. So that one was more of a maybe I'll learn the hard way on how to work on a motorcycle, and I'm very much so having to learn the hard way right now because it's not running. So from me attempting to fix it. So yeah, that one's been fun. I seem to have this habit of throwing myself into the deep end and not knowing a whole lot and hoping that I can learn something from it. So yeah, that is definitely one of them right now. I used to do music. I haven't done it as much lately. By picking up the guitar, just have an acoustic that I mess around with from time to time. But yeah, I think any of the spare time that I have from not creating something, because I have this, I call it this like Jewish grandmother in the back of my head that kind of guilt trips me into creating. So I feel bad about binging 2 shows in a row. I can't binge. I feel like, yeah, I need to go do something now. I need to go produce something. And so I'm horrible at keeping up with all the shows that are out and movies that have come out. So yeah, I think it's hopefully something that I can balance out properly. But I think right now I feel like I'm on borrowed time from just the previous chapters of my life to where I feel like now's a good time to do everything you want to do. So try to manage that properly and start doing it. So that's kind of the phase of my life I'm in right now.
Your mother says that you're poetic and write your own lyrics.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I started off writing really horrible poetry in high school, as you do. And I remember this jock had offered to buy one of my poems from me, $10 too. So that's saying something. That's $10.
Yeah.
And he ended up giving it to his girlfriend and writing his name on it as that he wrote it. I heard about that later. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I started off writing poetry, and then I got into a band where I was just playing rhythm guitar. And then on the first gig that came up, the lead singer noped out of it. And I was like, holy crap. And they didn't want to cancel the gig, so they made me go up there and be the singer. And I had so much stage fright. But eventually, just again, the deep water thing, it eventually got to a point where we just kept doing shows, kept writing songs, felt more comfortable screaming in front of people. That's all. I wasn't really singing. It was pretty much the screaming. And so that takes very, very little talent. So, but it was a fun enough time with getting to experience, you know, my main thing was just trying to experience a good venue to play at, and Trees at the time in Deep Ellum was one that I had been to shows and had really great sound and sound guys that were behind the boards. So that was always my mecca, like to eventually get there. So we did eventually, thankfully, get to play there twice, and that was a really good memory.
So we could, since McLean was in the music industry for a while, and you know he He was also a musician. So I wonder if we could get you and him together. I play a mean triangle. We can get Rumley on somewhere. We could host a gig on the side of the building there at Pastime and throw 5 or 6 chairs out in the grass, and hopefully we can sell out of those 5 or 6 chairs. And I don't know.
Trees. That's one of the venues that gave him his start in the industry. So
yeah, no, it was at least around here. It was definitely one of those known for really good sound. And I thought, hey, if we're on our way to making it, that's going to be the one place that we need to go to make it. And I remember there was probably like 13 people there on a Thursday night that they allowed us to go. But the one thing, my one takeaway, the good moment from that one was the bouncer that they had just leaning up against the stage. There was one moment of the night where we got into this one song and I just saw him just the back of his head just doing that. And I thought, oh yeah, all right, we made it.
Going, you're good.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, got the bouncer nod, and so that'll be good because this guy has to listen to a bunch of bands coming through here, right? But yeah, no, that was a pretty cool moment.
So Marty McGuire's asking what's your favorite tacos?
Oh, I do like Baja tacos, but I've really been enjoying Torchy's tacos. The what is that? Not the Ranchero. There's a couple that I get. One of them is the Ranchero that I really like, or the Rancher. And then I think the other one is I think they call it the Democrat. Sorry, Chris. And but yeah, they load those tacos down, man. It's such a good thing. And Megan loves the
Where's this at?
Torchy's?
Torchy's. Oh yeah, I like Torchy's.
Yeah. Although I've been told Velvet Taco is really good. I haven't been there yet though.
It's really good on 7th Street. That place is good too. So yeah, but Torchy's is real good.
Yeah, I go all these fancy places. I go to that little taqueria up there in Roanoke. He's got some good tacos up there.
Taco Bell doesn't count there, Ryan.
Some of the dives are in a good place to
one time.
Yeah. So Brandon, is Ryan on board for the second cover? That's a yes. He was kind of forced to it. We had a talk. We unveiled the cover on my author page about a week ago, last Friday, I believe, last Thursday, and so Brandon, we talked about that.
Reach out to and get on the cover.
Do what?
You can reach out to Brandon and get him on the cover too.
We're going to have a couple of covers for issue 2, but but for issue 1, the way that cover came out, we wanted Ryan to be just a single cover by itself. We're going to throw some variants up for number 2. So we'll be reaching out.
I'm worried about the grading with all these spine ticks already on the book. I mean, it hasn't been cleaned yet.
Yeah, I'm okay if it comes back as a 7.5. I still want y'all to sign it.
Can we yellow the pages so it doesn't come back white pages?
We could do that. All right. Any more questions for Mr. Palmer? We've been on for 1 hour and 7 minutes. Time just flies when you're having fun. Like you said, for a good time, it's tonight. So right now, it doesn't seem like we've been on here for over an hour, but we have. So there's a question. I do want to, Rumley, I do want to make that as a print. I really do, and put that in and frame it and put that in the bathroom at Pastime. Yeah,
I know somebody that does print, so we can.
I do too. I think he may be on here right now. Matter of fact, he has a question.
All right. Art question for new artists out there that are inspired by you and your art. Do you feel attitude influences the quality of art an artist creates? Do you feel it can alter an artist's operation as an artist along with his or her future success?
He's asking that for me.
These novels.
Yeah, that's a very passive aggressive way to confront you on this one here, Chris. But oddly enough, I don't think so as far as quality of art. I've kind of held this strong belief that there are bad people in this world that can do good things, and there's good people in this world that can do bad things. And so even if somebody doesn't have the best attitude or thankfulness or whatnot with it, they can still produce some good things. And so I don't think that necessarily changes the quality of their art. There are some major a-holes that I know that are pretty good at what they do, and so maybe that feeds into that ego as well. But I think that has had little effect as to how good they were. But I think attitude can certainly affect that person's goals as to what they're trying to achieve. So from my side of it, again, I try to do things that I just enjoy doing, and if somebody else enjoys it, I think that's that's a win. I don't have a goal to be a comic pro or this or that, as far as to go different parts of the industry or be considered this or that. I think I just am okay with being me, and if being me can get me to cool places or just meet cool people. I mean, y'all, for instance, y'all just doing what you love, and you've got to meet all these cool artists and owners and people that are just in the game and just having fun. And I think that's awesome. But I mean, you have a stable of people that you've rolled out already, of just people that are creating out there and doing what they love to do simply because you liked to do something and you loved it and they were part of that. So I think that can certainly affect where things go and affect your goal of it. But right now, my goal is to have fun and be me. And so it's really tough to not achieve that unless I'm just, got the COVID or something.
Got the COVID. That's a good answer. I like that. You've had some really great, humbling answers tonight. So one thing we will tell everybody, if you want to rewatch this interview with Ryan, because we know Megan will go back and watch it a couple times. This will be uploaded on our YouTube page at Pastime Comics.
Good.
By tomorrow.
I'm frozen.
No, you're not frozen. You're good. Now you're frozen. Boy, look at his eyes, Pomp. He's got that creepy, like he's about to kill somebody look. Let's zoom in on. We're gonna zoom in on Rumley.
Oh,
all
right.
It froze on me.
Dang it.
Yeah, we had you froze, and your eyes looked like you were just about to.
What happened?
Yeah, that you were about to go Dexter all over somebody.
Funny is, on my screen, y'all froze. So I was still moving and talking, and y'all were froze. So I was like, okay, is it me or is it y'all? Who's froze? What's going on?
So the Ferryman this Friday or Saturday?
What's that?
The Ferryman.
The Kickstarter.
Hopefully Saturday I'll have it out. Tomorrow I'll be in the store because we're getting to reopen, and I have to work on it and launch it. So, but real quick, going back to things that you said about all people being creators. I mean, look at how we all met. The whole what I call family of all of us, right? You and I met because I was selling comics here in the kitchen for fun, and you bought some, and then we had the shady deal go down at the QT. Where we met. I met Rumley by selling him a Star Wars pop at Saginaw High School. It kind of, and then, but the whole thing,
deal at least.
Yeah, I think he did. He get it at cost. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Chris. Chris. He buys something 2 weeks later. He sells it for what he bought.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm not out to price gouge people like you see a lot of people doing when they do that stuff. I can't stand that. But free market, free enterprise, whatever. God bless them. But you look at it, right? You come in our store. When we first started, you were buying books. So we first started saying, hey, we're going to meet us here at the store in Watauga. And you're like, great, I live in Watauga. Yeah, we're going to open a brick and mortar. Well, you and Megan showed up one day. Y'all walk in, you're hanging out talking to us. You're like, hey, if you guys need help painting or any of that, here we are. You guys didn't even know us. And you and Megan are offering up to help out. And pretty soon you're showing up on, Tuesday nights to help us out. And then Megan came begging to work there because she liked us so much. But you think about the whole family it created. Tommy has a store now. You guys know Tommy for a while, but everybody gets along. And like you said, the creator. Then we all meet McLean. McLean brings another element into it on things he does and gets along with everybody and the artist. And you go to this industry, and there's just, like you're saying, there's a lot of good people out there in the industry that we've all met. Yeah. And you do have a team now, Megan.
The night that Ryan and I did the live show together with the furry helmets on.
Dude, that was uncomfortable because you were petting each other's faces. That was very uncomfortable.
I mean, it can be if you're not open-minded like that. Yeah. But it was very uncomfortable being in those as well. Yeah, I'm surprised we made it through the majority of that stream with them on.
We still have those in the store. So,
but yeah, no, I think it was awesome that you allowed me to do the Batcave with the Joker wording, and then even just the comics up front. That I don't know. For whatever reason, this is going to be my Dr. Phil moment. Whatever reason, after meeting you, I told Megan, I said, I just feel like I need to help them out. Like I just, not that you needed it, not that it was some kind of, but it's like that I want to help them out and just to see whatever they need. And so it was at that point, yeah, we ended up going inside the store before you even put shelves or anything in there. And we're just walking around and you're pointing at, hey, this is where we're thinking of putting this and whatnot. And yeah, it just all from that moment. And we try to show up as much as possible to hand books. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's this one key thing that I learned in private school, which was this is probably the only really thing I learned in private school, but there was these little bitty lessons that we'd get every now and then. And there was one that said that a way to achieve your dreams is to help somebody achieve theirs. And I always thought that was kind of a weird one because you obviously always think of your goal in mind and it doesn't include spending a lot of other time helping somebody else out with theirs. So, but for whatever reason, I was like, you know what, I really felt like helping you and Tommy out and just being able to be that supportive role and be the guy in the background, not trying to shove my face up front and whatnot, to take that role that, I don't know. I just felt like that was what we were supposed to do. So that's why we showed up every Tuesday night to help out with books. And, sometimes Megan would be awake for that. And that was cool.
Yes.
But
and
yeah.
want a blizzard, we give her a blizzard, she's good to go. But no, that just shows that you're good people and that you're a very good person, very humble, and we appreciate it, and that we've all built friendships on that, and which is really good, and we appreciate it because you always look at the people that help you out, like you and Megan, and there's Brandon on here too, and like I said, McLean, and how everybody met through, which is crazy, how we all met through a colored picture book. It's what it is. It's a comic book. They're fun. That's how we all met. Besides Ryan and I. Ryan got his. I think he bought a Queen Amidala pop.
Yeah.
It was a new bath toy or something.
Spider-Man pop. It was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was a, Ray or somebody like that.
Now I hate pops. So we went from there to me hating pops now. So there you go.
Wow.
All right. Well, we've been on for an hour and 16 minutes, and I think we'll wrap this show up for the evening, unless somebody else has one more question for Mr. Palmer. But again, make sure you go follow him. Make sure you go follow him on his social media. He's got some great artwork out there. He's got prints. Like I said, he does set up at the Watauga show when we get to do it. The Keller show when it goes on. You will find him at Main Street Art Festival. Selling his artwork as well. But again,
or just at a con digging next to you in the back issues.
Yes. Or, some of the best times is, I've been in the store working and I get a text message from Megan and Ryan saying Brian's at Titan shopping, who's one of our owners. So, it's just funny stuff. I've run into Ryan up at Half Price Books. We both were shopping in there one day. I look up and Ryan's walking in and we're at the comic table together digging through stuff. So anyway, but we do appreciate it. Of course, we're going to show the video one more time. We have to do the exit video. So you get to watch that again. Same one.
Ryan,
no embarrassing stuff.
Anyone before we leave, or to the people that are going to rewatch this on YouTube in the years to come?
Anything I want to say?
It's your spotlight right now.
It's all you.
Ooh.
It's the power hour.
Just honestly, just support local artists, or just the local artists that So your niece and nephew, or the guy that you work with who just leaves doodles at his desk. Support those guys, because I think there's a lot of times where they feel they have something to say with their art that they can't just say verbally. And sometimes if it goes, not necessarily you have to pat them on the back or anything like that, but if it just can start a conversation or have a good moment produced from that one thing, I think honestly that can open up so many doors and avenues for creativity to continue to keep going through. So anybody that you don't have to buy their work. You don't necessarily have to say that you thought this was the most awesome thing that they've ever done. I don't really like the back pats that much, but if it's somebody that just really just enjoyed it or had a memory of the thing that I was doing and can share that in conversation, those are always the cool things. Those are the wins there. So I would encourage anybody, start as small as you can possibly think. If there's somebody that's creating something, go have a conversation with them.
Well said. I like that. Real quick, I noticed over your shoulder there, you have a couple of Toy Story toys.
You can see
hanging.
that?
Yeah,
Oh
Buzz
man.
Lightyear.
yeah. But look at this. I want to show this. Go back to the camera, Ryan. Look at that. I want to show you. We're brothers, Ryan.
Oh
Look at
my
that.
gosh.
We need to get them out of the box and play with them together.
Oh my gosh, I'm afraid to.
Yeah, I'm on my way over. So there you go. We both have our Toy Story.
Although I still need Rex, oddly enough, and Slinky Dog.
Yeah. Rex, they had Rex not too long ago. He's at the Disney, the mall. The mall reopens tomorrow. He was at the Disney store, the original box, in Hewlin Mall. They had a bunch of them before everything shut down. So
Yeah, I'm trying to get the OG ones, not the Toy Story 4 ones, but yeah, and RC I hear is like $500, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to get him anytime soon.
I don't know. Megan could work it off at the comic store, and each week, and build up to it real quick, kind of like a birthday gift she gave you, I think, too. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Which is-
Indentured servitude is definitely coming back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us and Ryan Palmer. Hey.
Enjoy your day and enjoy coffee time with Pastime Comics and Collectibles.